Good evening from PyeongChang. Tracy and myself, Greg, are here right at the heart of things.
This is where the opening ceremony is going to take place. Actually, it's about a mile down that way, and you can see the people streaming in around us. We're going to take you down here. This is like a tunnel of lit up icicles, just to get everyone in the mood, because I can assure you it is like icicles.
Absolutely. It is pretty cold night, blustery winds. Shelter is at hand, and you'll see people hustling along, but people brought their festive spirit along with their warm clothing, so I think it's going to be okay.
And let's not forget the cauldron's going to be lit, so hopefully that's like a big heater, it lights up for everybody. Let's go this way.
Let's make our way.
This is a street where lots of people, obviously, who couldn't get tickets because it's limited seating, have come to the area anyway to be part of the festivities, to hop into the nice warm restaurants and eat, drink and be merry on this very special day.
And you can see all around us just the amount of work that has gone into this. Not just the ceremonies itself, but getting people into the ceremonies. You'll see more and more people starting to arrive. Obviously, difficult location, and we're up here in the mountains of PyeongChang at a ski resort that is hosting this. This venue, an open-air venue, has been created solely for the purpose of staging the opening and closing ceremonies. So it's making its debut this evening, as well as the games here in South Korea.
And it's always interesting when a host city for an Olympic Games prepares. Obviously, they have to build incredible stadiums, they have wonderful state-of-the-art facilities, and the big question always is what happens to them afterwards. Now, excuse me, hadn't it? We know that in Beijing, much has been made of the bird's nest.
That's right.
And the water cube.
That's right.
We were talking to somebody the other day at the main press centre who was saying people often forget that the facilities in Russia, which was the previous Winter Olympic Games, are put to such great use now. They've turned into like a sporting mecca for young kids. They bring in projects with children to give them free access to these state-of-the-art facilities.
That's right. For special events and other things, you have to book months in advance. That shows the popularity and the legacy that has been left by the Sochi Games.
Have a look over here, just in case you're cold, you want a memento of being in South Korea for the PyeongChang.
There we go. We've got some enterprising fellows selling a little bit of warmth and cheer. Looks pretty good to me.
How much? How much?
$300. $100? No. One.
300.
300 won?
Yeah.
300 won. Not bad. Pretty good deal. Thank you.
We can see also the flags of many of the nations that are competing here at the Winter Olympic Games. All up, 92 countries competing.
Also and right here, we have the Unified Peninsula flag. This will be worn on the women's hockey team, the DPRK South Korea Unified Women's Hockey Team. This is what you can see on their jerseys. You'll see many flags around. The supporters of that team will be waving those in support of the unified team.
And that's the flag they'll be marching under when they come into the arena last of all the nations tonight. Because of course we know that the host nation comes in after all of the other guest nations. And a very special occasion. The first time it happened, the Sydney Olympics in 2000, and now it's happening again. The DPRK and South Korea coming together as one unified team for the opening ceremony.
Marching together, it's going to be quite a spectacle. Big speculation right now, of course, surrounding the opening ceremony itself. Everybody always wonders how the cauldron will be lit, who will be doing it, what ingenious methods they'll use next. Any ideas?
I've got no idea, because I'm looking at the food. Look at this, some local delicacies. What's on offer just to warm people up?
There we go. Some chwar for all the people back in China. South Korean version of chwar, obviously, just meat on a stick. You can't go wrong with that in any kind of weather. And more. So, barbecue to go. Facilities set up all around. There's shelters, areas for people to get free drinks like I'm holding in my hand. Rest stations have been set up as well, dispensing free mocha coffee, tea, everything for the weary or the cold spectator.
I was just trying to see actually if I've got any money in my pocket so I can go and get one of those meat sticks, but I don't think I do. And I can't feel anything with my gloves on. I don't think 2001's going to do it.
Supporting
Hello.
Korea?
Yeah.
Ah.
On the Russian sports team.
Oh, the Russian
sports
Unified
team.
Sports Team.
Ah, very good. Okay.
So the team from Russia is competing. This time they're called the Olympic Athletes from Russia,
Yeah.
and they will be competing under the Olympic flag. So why do you support the Russian athletes?
Because you said that is not Russian team actually, so not support that government. So this is private sector. We support the Russian team, that, and so on.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So
Can you read that for us?
한국문화원 문화체육관광부 and 프로스트바 러시아브 레스플리케 까레야 이 I don't know that. 까르디체느의 소비에트 아르가니지 러시 소체스트벤더브 I don't know about that. 더블어지다.
Okay, but tell us, do you know who's going to light the cauldron tonight?
Sorry.
Who is going to light the Olympic cauldron?
right. 누구였지? 성공하는 사람? I
아직
heard.
안 나왔어요.
I just heard 연하. Maybe I don't know. 김연아. Maybe. I don't know. Just rumor. I read the article, but I hope so. 김연아 also very famous. So yeah.
We
Yeah.
hope you enjoy the night.
Thank you very much.
guys. Well done.
Thank you, Rush.
See you. Bye. Bye.
Kim Yuna, certainly a good bet, a front runner for many people, I think, in the speculation about how these games will be beginning.
Yeah, Kim Yuna, so famous right around the world, one of the most beautiful figure skaters of all time. She's retired, of course, but you know, her light hasn't dimmed at all. She's still an incredible star, still so sought after right around the world.
And I wonder about the method, too. If it were to be Kim Yuna, will she be on skates? Are they doing an ice spectacle of some kind? From what I've seen of the stadium so far, it looks like there's a large jump. My money, I think, could be on one of the 4 new Olympic events, one of them being big air snowboarding. I think there's a potential for them to work something into that. A spectacular jump, dropping a flame into the cauldron, perhaps.
Can you imagine if that was the way it was going to be lit? Could you imagine actually being the athlete chosen to do that?
Ooh.
I mean, the nerves this morning,
And
right all through the day, wondering, you know, how to get to the evening, how you're going to make sure you don't falter, make sure everything goes smoothly. I mean, oh gosh, what a nerve-wracking moment.
Now we're back out onto this main street. If you can look behind us, you get a really good view. Have a look at this, right down the line. Yeah.
Canada.
Canada.
Mr. Canada, meet Mr. Canada.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Also from Canada. I've got too much going on my hands.
Of course,
I
but it's
apologize.
good. Keep one with the coffee.
That's right, that's right.
What are you doing? Are you an athlete?
I'm not.
You what, are you
I'm working here, yes.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah,
And you're actually going to the opening ceremony?
Yeah, I'm on my way now. I'm a bit late though, so
So
I'm afraid I can't take any interviews, but it's going to be great though.
All right. Have a good one.
Enjoy, everybody.
Get out of here.
See
Good
you.
luck to
See
us.
Bye-bye.
Come back and you can look down the street right now. You get the full view of this icicle-laden, beautiful street. No, come around this way. There we go. Look at that. So this is the Tunnel of Light, icicles, a perfect entrance. All the guests and spectators are making their way down there, and then they're being diverted on to the stadium. Now, obviously, security for such an event is tight, and at such a new venue, I can only imagine the length and time it's going to take to process everybody. And we've got some new guests here. Hello, guys.
How are you?
Where are you from?
High five.
Oh, very good. High five.
What's your name?
My name is Sungju Baek.
And how old are you?
How old are you?
I am happy.
You're very happy. That's
Good.
very
We should be happy. Are you cold?
Yes.
Oh, that's okay too. What is this you have? What is this? Show us. Can you? Hey! There we go. One of the many noisemakers that we're going to hear around the stadium. Very good, boys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Young spectators out braving the cold, wearing just caps too.
I've come to your rescue. I'm going to take that.
Thank you.
So you can warm your hands right over
Oh,
here.
Fantastic.
Let's go. Can we join in?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? No. Stay, please. Are you locals? You're from PyeongChang?
Korean police.
Oh, Korean police. Can you talk to us? We're China Television.
China.
Yeah. We're China Global Television Network. CCTV, China Global Television. Yeah. And so are you doing security for the opening ceremony?
Yeah. For the upstairs. And upstairs and here.
Right. Okay. Will the Olympics be good?
Pardon?
Will the Olympics be good for South Korea?
I hope.
Are you looking forward to gold medals?
More than 2 gold medal.
More than 2. I think you'll get more than 2. Which sport?
Short track or figure skating.
Is short track your number 1 sport in South Korea?
I think.
Do you skate?
No.
Thanks for talking to us. Thank you. Bye. Let's keep walking down the street. Plenty of action here. What's happened? Oh, there he is. How'd you go? Feeling better?
Much better now. I got the gloves on. We're ready to roll. All right. We'll just keep this in.
Follow us.
All right.
See what's happening.
So we're making our way down this brilliantly lit street. Now, as we said before, this is a ski resort, obviously a little ski town. Overwhelmed. It has never seen anything the likes of this. Obviously, South Korea has been preparing for 8 years. I want to say 6 or 8 years for these games. 7 years.
Yeah, I can give you some detail on that. Every single bid, once they have a bid and they announce the winner, there's 7 years for a host city to get going. So there's like 4 years in sort of pre-planning, 3 years in the major construction and finishing of all the infrastructure, and you've got that D-Day, and that D-Day for PyeongChang is this evening.
It's arrived. Thank you. Okay, we're continuing down this street. You'll see shops, eager merchants obviously awaiting a boon the likes of which will never come again, well, until the closing ceremony. And you'll see the heaters everywhere, well placed, trying to keep everybody as comfortable as possible in these conditions. Wow. I'm not sure if you can bring them into the stadium, but that...
Stingray.
Look at that.
Wow. Some dried fish. This is all a dried fish shop.
If anybody's in need of a snack on a cold winter's night, there we go. These guys are looking at me.
When we actually arrived here about, what, an hour and a half ago, the street was teeming with
That's
people.
right.
I think everyone's made their way that way.
Yes.
Everyone that had a ticket to get into the venue, and the rest are in the restaurants keeping warm and enjoying the evening. We've seen this man before, Captain America. Can you talk
Give
to
us a
again?
moment over here.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we're streaming live on China Global Television Network.
I am actually from China, more or less.
Well,
Really?
you're wearing the flag, basically.
I live in Shanghai, China,
Right.
but I'm
okay.
reporting for a U.S. company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I'm here from Beijing.
Nice,
We're all
man.
from here from CCTV. So
你好，
CGTN.
你好，
There you go.
大家好。呀，我
very
可以
good.
说很多的中文。Yeah，不可以。
And so what do you do in China?
I am a journo of sorts. I work for a company called Barstool Sports,
Yep.
and I'm their foreign correspondent.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
do all foreign correspondents get a uniform like that?
No, I had to go out and buy this on my own. Yeah, it's a little loud per se, but you know, like the Olympics is definitely the time and place to be loud.
be
You know,
loud,
to
yeah.
be loud and proud
So what are
and
your
patriotic.
predictions? What are your predictions for this?
I think Martins Dukers from Latvia is going to win the skeleton. I think Belarus is going to take home the women's biathlon event, and I think USA men's hockey is going to win the gold.
Right. What about Shaun White? The snowboarder?
Shaun White? Shaun White is a legend. Yeah, I couldn't get any tickets to any of his events because it's such a hot ticket. They're all sold out. But
that's not because of him. That's because of an Australian guy called Scotty James.
Oh, Scotty James.
The two major rivals.
Oh, wow. So
Really sticking around to see Canada's Mark McMorris. There we go.
Yeah.
And let's not forget the Chinese competitors.
So yeah, so who are the hot athletes to watch on the Chinese team?
The Chinese, we got a bunch of young snowboarders actually that are coming out. We've got a bunch of freestyle skiers. China's best event is, of course, short track speed skating. They're number 2 in the world all time behind South Korea in that event. So that's, of course, their hot ticket, and that's what they'll be expecting the most success from.
Now the Koreans, the Chinese snowboarders, where do you think they practice? Do they go to the Yabuli ski resort up near Harbin, or where have they been training?
There's some there, and then also in Chongli, of course, where we'll see the 2022 Beijing Olympics. There's facilities out there. They train also in Harbin, and I know they go abroad a fair bit as well. So they're developing the talents overseas too.
And competing on the circuit, yeah. Exactly.
Oh yeah, traveling all around the world and stuff.
Yeah.
In Australia, where does he practice? You ever get any snow in parts of Australia?
We do, surprisingly, down south in New South Wales and Victoria.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got some pretty good ski slopes.
Or you hop over to New Zealand. They probably got some solid slopes.
To New Zealand, but of course, at that elite level, they're nearly all based in Europe, travelling on the European circuit, or in America. A lot of them are based in the States, pretty much full time.
All right, yeah. Well, that's going to be some fun Olympic action to watch.
It will be. Enjoy the games.
I will.
Thanks.
Take care.
Zaijian.
Bye-bye. Zaijian. Shall we head back that way?
Perhaps. As you mentioned,
the people have been going. Let's see what
we're getting closer to the actual event. So you'll see piles of buses everywhere. The parking lot itself, where we actually got off, is a good 5-minute drive away from here. The organizers have thoughtfully prepared a parking lot away from the main action to keep this place as little congestion as possible. They provide piles of city buses, coaches to take us all over here. So we were able to hop on one of those, get transported to the venue and down the main tunnel. Very thoughtful, very well organized from what I've seen so far. In fact, I'm amazed at how little traffic there is right now, with thousands of people streaming to this event. It's quite orderly. Tracy, how does this compare to other Winter Games opening ceremonies you've been to, just in terms of the initial organization right here?
Well, this is funny because the last couple of Winter Olympic Games, it has been so warm and balmy that, especially in Sochi, it was almost like, you come around, which way are we going? You're going to walk into people, I'm sorry. Hello. It was a little bit like a Summer Olympic Games in Sochi. It was so warm in the coastal area. Very similar to here. We've got a coastal part and we have the alpine region. But this looks like it's going to be probably the coldest Winter Olympic Games on record. That's what they're predicting already. And not so much land temperature, but combined with the wind chill factor, it's freezing.
Yeah, it's not so much what it says on the thermometer, it's what it feels like. And with the wind dashing down, and once again, the PyeongChang Olympic Stadium is an open air venue. And of course, like all stadiums, it's bowl-shaped, so it's going to catch that wind, circulate it around, and amplify it.
We think you should turn the camera that way, and as you walk down, just take a shot of all the people taking selfies in this really beautiful arcade. You can turn that way.
Glenboat, turn around, take a look. Yeah. Take a look down here. Look at this. This is just stunning. What a way to set the mood as we walk down this way. People all over, you can see, taking selfies in the jackets, ready to go. People very much dressed for success and the party that is just about to get started. That's beautiful. Really great. Think of the time to string all of these lights.
So what can we tell you about the opening ceremony? Not a lot. A lot of it is kept very much secret, as you would hope. It's an extravaganza. It will be one of the world's most watched television events of the year. I mean, let's remember also that later on this year we have the FIFA World Cup in Russia. That will be one of the most highly watched events of the year. So really fascinating, the two big events happening at the one time. But it'll be a story involving the myth of the creation of this country, this land, and it will pivot us through right into the future. It'll be beautiful. It always involves lots of children, spectacular colours, spectacular music. You'll get a feel for the real culture of Korea. And then the highlight at the end with the unified team marching in and the lighting of the cauldron. And that is the big surprise. Actually, you know a little bit about what happened when Korea hosted the last Olympic Games, which was a Summer Olympics back in 1988.
That's right. So that was in Seoul, capital city, of course, of South Korea. That was at the time, well, South Korea's first games. Back then, we can tell you about the opening. Oh, before we go on with this, we've got some more vendors at the side, some enterprising fellows. Take a look at this. We've got a little bit of patriotism on display, a nice mix of flags, binoculars, kids' binoculars, heating packs, which might be a very good idea, some blankets. 1,000?
How many gloves have I got on? Let me take all of them off. 1, 2. 2. There you go.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. So back in 1988, when Seoul hosted the country's first, how do they work? Can you still see me? Fantastic. Brilliant idea. And flags, of course, to boot. Blankets, flags, everything. I'm surprised he's still got some stock left. But people obviously came prepared. They knew what they were in for.
So 88.
In 1988 at the Seoul Olympics Summer Games, that cauldron was lit in a very special way. They used 3 people, 1 non-athlete, a teacher, and then 2 marathon runners. PyeongChang, who in 1936 was competing for a South Korea that was under Japanese occupation. He actually had to compete, as he said, under a Japanese name. He won the gold medal in the marathon that year, the first gold medal for South Korea, despite it being under Japanese occupation. So it did not go to South Korea's medal tally, it went to Japan's. Nonetheless, a cultural hero. So, in 1988, he had the honor of lighting the cauldron along with a present-day marathon runner, Kim Won-tak. So the 3 of them lit the cauldron in a spectacular fashion, and I also speculate that we could see something like that tonight. Oh, hello! Oh, come back! Maybe that's one way to stay warm, at least. So spectators, before they head in, taking some last-minute pictures. Thank you. With the unified team and, of course, DPRK's participation being such a big factor, there's every chance that there may be some sort of unified cauldron lighting ceremony yet again. We maybe see prominent representatives from each country, current athletes or past athletes, coming out. DPRK traditionally not been a major power in the Winter Olympics. They've done better in the Summer Games. And we've just encountered the last mile rest area. That sounds perfect.
Let's go.
Let's see what's in here.
Will we be warm at least?
All right, so now we're entering one more rest area. Just one of the many facilities provided by the organizers to help keep things comfortable. And you look in here. Heaters placed all around the room, tables. There's refreshments at the back.
Were you in Sochi?
Yes.
Yeah?
I live in Sochi.
You live in Sochi?
Yes.
Tell us.
What is Sochi like now? 4 years after the last games, what is it like now, and how much are the stadiums used?
I don't understand. My English also.
It's
No, Korea you like. No, I like.
yeah, you like.
Olympic Games. I like.
Good.
Good, yes.
Is this
Excellent.
Is this your second Olympic Games? How many have you been to?
First Olympic. I was in Sochi, I was in Rio, here this, yes. Yes. Fun. Yes.
A fan.
Yes.
Which sport?
Yes.
Go to here watching Olympic Games.
Yes. Ice hockey, biathlon, yes.
Biathlon.
Yes. Excellent.
Biathlon,
My hobby
hockey.
biathlon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's, I think, 169 Olympic athletes from Russia competing here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And which one will be the top gold medal prospect?
Gold medal prospect. No, I don't know.
Don't know.
Yes.
But you will win some.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right, thank you guys. Good luck. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. I think there's something that's looking a little hot down here, like an urn, perhaps. Maybe we can check it out.
We can only hope at this point. We've got some signs over here. Melting Earth Save Us. Are you hoping for a little bit of heat? Is that because you're cold? Let's see what these guys are up to.
We make this batch and we global warming situation
Donation.
with donation Olympics. Yes.
And have many people been donating so far?
Not
No.
yet.
Everybody's so busy. Their hands are in their pockets to stay warm, not to give out money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that's great. Well done. Where are you from in South Korea?
Seoul.
Seoul. Yeah.
So you've come here just for these games? Will you get to watch some
Yeah.
of the events
Yeah.
too, or
Yeah.
just the opening ceremony?
Some games we watch. Yeah.
Good. What sports do you want to see? What is your favorite sport?
Speed
Figure.
skating.
Figure skate.
Figure skating,
Yeah.
speed skating?
Yeah.
Great. We'll be looking out for you. Good luck to you guys, to your cause and to your country. Thank you. Now, Tracy's run off, and I think I know where. Take a look over here. Well thought out refreshments for all, and they look piping hot. Just the thing on this night. Really great. Look at all this setup. So we've got
Tea, barley tea, very nice, and a mild mocha coffee mix, which is also very nice. At this point, I'd drink anything if it was hot, but I'm very glad to say that it's delicious anyway. We do have to make very special mention of our cameraman during these live streams. When you run a camera, you can't wear gloves because you can't press the buttons. So he's been out there in the cold with us for however long we've been out there with no gloves, filming us, and he can't even take a warm coffee to warm his hands up. So we'll have to stop soon, I think, won't we? So that he has a chance to warm his hands as well before they break off.
That is tough work, and the camera itself is only getting colder by the minute, and he's handling that. Well done. Look. Well,
Here's one for you.
thank you very much.
Should we...
I think we are getting very close to the actual opening ceremony. What time is it?
Check the time.
Yeah. So the opening ceremony themselves get going at 8 o'clock. We don't want to miss the opening of the opening ceremonies. The spectacle itself is scheduled to run for 2 hours, but some expectations could be as long as 3 hours. We'll see how long it goes. Obviously, it takes ages for each delegation to make their way into the arena. And I can only imagine the excitement. Tracy, you got to interview a Chinese Olympian by the name of Wang Beixing earlier today, who just shared with you a bit of her excitement. She's participated in 3 games as an athlete, but now will get to watch. You yourself, how many Olympics?
This is my 12th.
12
So I'm pretty lucky. I've done, I think, 5 winter and 7 Summer Olympics. But to get back to Wang Beixing, what an incredible story. So she was an amazing athlete, of course, with 3 Olympics. But as an Olympian, because her races were always early in the program, she never allowed herself to go to an opening ceremony because she didn't want to lose focus. She wanted to keep everything just, really occupied on the job at hand. So this is her first Olympics not as a competitor, and it will be her first opening ceremony. So she was almost jumping out of her skin this morning when we spoke to her.
What a thrill, wow. Okay, so we're still in this very comfortable rest area. You see other like-minded folk taking refuge from the cold and the wind right now. But with the game set to begin, those with tickets will likely be inside, ensconced in their seats. The thoughtful organizers have prepared an opening ceremony kit that consists of a blanket, a cap, some warming packs, some noise makers, everything one needs to really enjoy themselves in the stadium.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime type experience. To be able to be a part of an opening ceremony at an Olympic Games, there's nothing like it. You do remember it for the rest of your life. So for all the kids that are going to take part here, I mean, what an incredible story they're going to have to tell their own children and their grandchildren in years to come. But also all of the athletes that will be making their way out there for the first time. Some have been to many games before, 3, sometimes 4 games. But for those that are making their debut here, and let's not forget, there's several countries making their first ever appearance at the Winter Olympics this time round, and what a special moment it will be for them.
That's right. We've got six National Olympic Committees making their debut at these Winter Games, their first Winter Games. They will be just as excited as we are with the games. With the opening ceremony almost ready to begin, we're going to leave you now, and we'll catch up with you after the gala.
Stay warm.